Number 3, Honourable Henare.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. What progress is the government making with its share offer program to free up capital to invest in new public assets without having to borrow more from overseas lenders?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the government is making very good progress. Last month, the government confirmed Genesis Energy shares had been priced at $1.55 in the share offer book build, which was the first stage of the offer. The general offer opened on the 29th of March and closes tomorrow. Total proceeds from the share offer will be up to $726 million, with $620 million already committed through the book build. So we will hand $726 million of share certificates to investors, and they will hand us $726 million in cash. That means that the government will raise $4.7 billion on behalf of taxpayers from the 4 share offers. That means we'll be able to use that money to build hospitals, build schools, maintain Kiwi Rail, roll out ultra-fast broadband without having to go and borrow from the opposition's obvious friends, the overseas bankers.
Mr Speaker.
Order. 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 Supplementary question, Honourable Henare.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker. What percentage of Genesis Energy shares is expected to be held by New Zealanders after the share offer is completed?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, right at the start of the program, the government set a target of 85% New Zealand ownership, and I know many people were sceptical at that time that 85% New Zealand ownership could be achieved. In the case of Genesis, it's expected that around 88% of Genesis will be owned by New Zealanders at the completion of the share offer. So Kiwi investors have been at the front of the queue for shares. And what it demonstrates is that New Zealanders are quite capable of making their own decisions without having to rely on the government about investing their savings in large, successful New Zealand companies. And quite why anyone would want to take that opportunity away from them is hard to understand.
Supplementary, Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable Henare.
Mr Speaker, how many of the objectives the government set for the Genesis share offer and the wider share offer program have been met?
Well, Mr
Honourable
Speaker,
Bill English.
Despite the best efforts of the opposition and the Maori Council, we've achieved all of the objectives that we set. I'm pleased to report that here are the five objectives where 51% government ownership, that's been achieved.
Order.
New Zealanders at the front of the queue, that's been achieved. Companies that provide good opportunities for investors, that's been achieved. The freed up capital is being spent on new public assets, and that has certainly been achieved. And the government is satisfied that industry-specific regulation continue to protect New Zealand consumers, who in the long run are the ultimate beneficiaries of this program.
Supplementary, Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable.
And what about the money? Has his objective of how much he was going to raise been achieved? And if not, what is the difference?
Order. Order.
Mr Speaker.
Order. I particularly want to hear the answer. Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, yes. We set a far-sighted government back in 2011 set a range of $5 to $7 billion in a program that included Solid Energy. Solid Energy has dropped out, and so with one less company, we almost got to $5 billion, $4.7 billion. But I can assure the opposition it's enough money to buy some things and build some public assets in election year.
Speaker.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Honourable Henare.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. What new public assets will the government buy using proceeds from the share offer program?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, it's a very, very long list, but I'll limit myself to just a few. The government has so far allocated just $2 billion of the $4.7 billion. This includes $426 million for redeveloping the Christchurch hospitals, one of the largest single public construction projects for a long time, $50 million to speed up the school network upgrade project so our children can have access to the best technology, $94 million for the 4th year of Kiwi Rail's turnaround plan, and a substantial contribution to building the new schools in Christchurch.
Very good. Very good.
Question number 4, Dennis O'Rourke.
This question is for the Minister of